some of the others go, I'm trying to find the actual language when I downloaded yesterday.
Commissioner Zerdy?
Sure. Well, to clarify something, I guess, quickly on the beach decal, it's really for us to talk about the idea next time. And as a part of the process, we'll bring the ordinance up to see if we can come up with a potential amendment. And just, I'm just one person up here, so I wanted to mention that tonight. I listened to a number of you all out there to do that. I also I have a decal myself. I've really never had a problem going across the bridge there and finding a place to park. Whether it's 11, 12, 13, 1400, everybody takes their chance. That's certainly a lot more than 50 spaces. So we all know that if there's not a spot to park there with that many people, then we'll park somewhere else, or ride a bike, or walk. I'm all for looking at a very wholesome opportunity to look at baseball being in our backyard here. I know that there's a lot of critical situations involved with using an open field or an open park facility like it is. There's a lot to consider, but there's many, many things that can come of that, especially even not just for the kids, but when you have that kind of facility, you have other tournaments and you bring in a lot of scouts, and a lot of things come of that opportunity all year round. The venue is to be used in that. So I think that that's something that if it would work, we certainly would have more of a demand for people coming in and having a trolley service. If there's that much more, we can probably get a lot more action going up and down through our downtown into the beach, back and forth, and that would make a big difference to a lot of our businesses in here as well. So I know that for myself, we will weigh all of the options here and carefully look at that as opportunities present.
Commissioner Mercer?
A couple things. Katie has already left the room, but I'm going to go ahead and ask the questions. Mary, on behalf of the President's Council, did all presidents sign off on that, including Rollo?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it was the Rollo representative who made the motion
To accept it? And
to ask the president to do that.
Okay, and Katie did call my office requesting an appointment, but I'm booked 2 or 3 weeks in advance because that's what I do on behalf of the citizens. She never called me. If she would have called me, I always pick up my phone. Quite a few people in the audience get me 2 or 3 times a day, so you know that happens, but no one ever called me. I just wanted to go on the record there. And then also, Mike Hill, I believe he left too. There is a process for boarding up. You know, I have no problem with PBSO bringing the prisoners to actually do board up and secure. But if you remember, this commission and the mayor has moved forward with new ordinances working with PBSO to board up and secure. But we're actually doing it with a company. There's quite a few laws involved. Unlike the Neighborhood and President's Council and the groups that went out and cleaned up a property this last weekend, which thank you very much. We are, as a city, we cannot do that. There's quite a few laws that come into play with both PBSO and the city. So as we move forward with our ordinances and our board up procedures, we'll look at possibly doing that. But right now we're looking at outsourcing that to companies that actually do it professionally. And we need receipts, we need a process, because it's the legal way to do it. So we are moving forward with that. We put money into those funds to address that. But unfortunately, Mr. Hill's not here to give that response.
Commissioner McVoy?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the hot seat. And the reason is I'm going to speak out against not only apple pie and motherhood, but baseball. And what I want to say is a lot of folks stepped up to say we should do this. We should have a baseball stadium and baseball fields. And it's pretty hard to find anything to dislike about baseball. All of my nieces and nephews travel great distances to baseball camps. I'm fine with it. I even played baseball, and I'm not, that sort of direction, all that much. I have no problem with baseball whatsoever. I don't know how much it would help economically. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. My concern is that in our enthusiasm to see only good and dollar signs and benefits to kids and all those things, which may well all be accurate, I feel like there's a little bit of a running roughshod over people who may have some very valid concerns. People who have bought homes here not that far from John Prince Park, who bought their homes with the idea that John Prince Park was in perpetuity an open space and not a stadium. Or people who just didn't expect to have all of the traffic and the things that go with the stadium right next to them. At this point, I am not in a possession of enough information to know whether the concerns are a big deal, a medium deal, maybe they're not a big deal at all. I'm very grateful to, forget who it was, but somebody mentioned and done the research that at Roger Dean, out of 30-odd games, one of them's evening and the rest of them are afternoon. Well, that's solid, helpful information that lets people think about, hell, you know, some games in the afternoon, I think we can deal with that. And I'm very sensitive to the concept of this is a very family-oriented thing, it's a good thing for kids. I would just like to suggest that at the same time we have section 2 that says the City Commission hereby strongly supports the continued exploration and development of John Prince Park as a location for a Major League Baseball franchise, that we simply add in an additional section before we go and put this out that says something to the effect that the City Commission hereby declares their clear and firm support of reaching out to the communities, addressing the concerns, doing the research, and making sure that the benefits are in fact something that everybody wants, or not everybody, I mean obviously you won't get it 100%, but that the concerns are taken seriously and balanced against the future benefits. I'd like to see an additional section in there to that effect, and then I'm perfectly fine to support it.
Commissioner Vice Mayor?
Thank you. I'm not really sure where to start, other than to tell you that since this whole initiative came public, I know I've spoken to hundreds of people in the last 2 or 3, hundreds of people about this. And I will tell you that in my 25 years of living in the city of Lake Worth, I have never seen such a heightened level of excitement and that feeling of goodness that I've felt in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's almost changed my life. And I mean that. You know, I think it was Greg Rice who was talking about how he's so used to hearing people, you know, with negatives and things about Lake Worth. But you know what? Things are, you know, the perception of our community is changing. It really is changing. And when this opportunity came along, and I thought, well, geez, you know, one of our neighbors to the north may have, you know, talk about swinging and missing on a breaking ball here, but the ball fell in our lap, and I think that we need to explore it, and that's really what this resolution does. All we're saying to the county commission, all we're asking the county commission to do is recognize that if they're willing to explore it, if it's a viable site, if there's buy-in from Major League Baseball, and there's buy-in from the communities, we're here to support that. The problem is, if nobody steps up, if our communities don't step up, the county commission very well just may say, you know what, we're not going to take it up. The reality of it is, and here's some inside baseball, pardon all the baseball funds, but there's a very real possibility that if Major League Baseball does not expand its spring training somewhere here in Palm Beach County, we very well may lose what's going on in Jupiter. The Cardinals and the Marlins very well may leave Jupiter in Palm Beach County. And in my humble opinion, if that happens, it may be a very long time before Major League Baseball comes back and approaches Palm Beach County. Now, again, the economic impact of the sports industry and the tourism in Palm Beach County is unbelievable. It's hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. When people think about tourism in Florida, they often think about the beaches or golf courses or Disney World or whatever, cruises. But we often overlook, because we're so blessed to live here and we're immersed in it so much with sports, we overlook the value that sports brings to Palm Beach County. Okay, so as an elected representative, you've heard me say for years, we have got to make Lake Worth open for business. We've got to show the world that we're willing to say yes, and we're willing to embrace good ideas, responsible ideas. Okay, I've heard a few people say, well, this is the evil developer. This is not about developers. This is about the all-American pastime. This is about, a community uplifting itself, having its image transformed to some large extent. This is about creating jobs for an area that really, really could use some jobs, not just during the spring, but year-round. This is about creating economic growth for Central Palm Beach County. And again, I want to go back a couple of steps. This isn't all about Lake Worth. This is about the Central Palm Beach County area. If you look at Palm Beach County as a whole, if you want to call it a donut, we're kind of like that donut hole when it comes to economic development, economic prosperity. What better opportunity would there be to close that donut hole, to fill that gap with some professional sports? And I've heard folks talk about when they were a kid, I never saw a professional baseball game or a professional athlete until I went to college. I never had that opportunity. But how cool would it be for all of our young folks who may never ever have the financial resources to go to Miami to watch the Marlins, be able to spend a few dollars less that maybe their parents can scratch together and go to spring training. I could talk about this ad nauseum, and I won't bore you to tears. But I will tell you this, I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of people, there's a lot of excitement, and I do apologize to Ms. McGivern for not returning her phone call, but I will tell you, of those who spoke out against the issue tonight, I've had conversations with each and every one of those individuals on some level over the last 2 weeks. So I'm very much in touch with those who are concerned about this, and every initiative, every proposal that we ever take up in this city is going to have folks that will be concerned about it because there's unintended consequences, and we recognize that. Our responsibility is to weigh everything and see if it's the best for the community. So in the end, I'm looking to, I'm going to vote for this. I'm voting for jobs. I'm voting for economic development. I'm voting for an enhancement of Central Palm Beach County's image. But more importantly, I'm voting for the success of our city. So thank you all very much.
You know me, I can go off on a tangent forever, but I put some notes down here to address some of the comments that were made today, both for and against. I heard Abaco being mentioned. It's known as one of the most family-friendly communities in all of Palm Beach County. And if you think about it, it was a neighborhood that was designed and built around a baseball stadium. Let's repeat that. It was a neighborhood that was built around a baseball stadium. And they did that because of its all-American celebration of our favorite pastime. Parents who live in that neighborhood, they want their children to grow up in that kind of environment. They even play ball at the stadium, which, by the way, these stadiums also provide a myriad of programs for children and different types of events and ball games and different types of things that happen. Why should Lake Worth miss any opportunity to bring joy and opportunity to our families, to our children, and grow a family-friendly experience while our city benefits? Our children struggle more than almost every other city in all of Palm Beach County. And this is our chance to do something to enhance their lives and give them opportunities that always seem to end up in some other city. But not now. Look at Delray Beach. We're not comparing to Delray Beach. But years ago, Atlantic Avenue, east of 95, had so much of the same blight issues that we have here in the city of Lake Worth. That tennis stadium that they put up there on Atlantic, that put them on the map and started to bring in tourism to their area and help them grow their city in the way that they wanted to grow. But it was sports. This is a ball field, a ballpark on a ball field, basically. And again, it's not within our city limits. But yes, we will be impacted by it. And most importantly, the deal is moving quickly. And I understand that. And that's unfortunate when something like an opportunity like this comes and happens. But when the opportunity of a lifetime comes around, one that so many people in this community has only dreamed of before, ever, you jump. I'm in support of this. Okay, we've got, that is the public participation of non-agenda items and consent agenda items.